good. No stress there. Okay. Test. Hello, test. Okay, we're good there. Okay.
I have the read in front of me.
Front of you.
In front of me.
Let me
Fronta.
put on the DND for the phone thing. Okay, good. All right. Hey, waka-cha. Here's a show for you. All right, here we go. I think we really are good here. Let's do this. All right, that's a short read. That's okay, though. All right, here we go. It begins. Let's pull that up so I can play it. In 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, King Cake.
Putin gluten.
Putin gluten. I'm glad you went that direction with it. Who caught all the flowers?
Woz says the Apple Watch is rad.
Penguins can taste fish.
Hot nurse.
Jury duty.
Your emails and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Penguins can't taste fish is what I meant.
Hi, and welcome to Sexy Software. My name is Greta, and we're going to be learning how to use Microsoft's latest version of Windows, called Windows 95. If you can, follow along with your own computer. It'll make the learning process easier for you.
I can only die once. I'm happy that you killed me.
The Morning Stream. A little turtle head pop out of my butt because that's where he lives.
Oh man, nothing's working. Hold on. Here, the proper length of that here.
I can only die once. I'm happy that you've killed me.
All right, there. Whatever that's worth. Yeah, some video game clip. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. That was all weird. By the way, that thing with Greta.
Hi, and welcome to Sexy Software.
That is an entire series of videos where they teach you how to use Windows 95 in full on YouTube, by the way. Where she stands there in a bikini the whole time, showing you how it all works. This is an icon.
Nice.
Your trash can, like that.
Because that helps you pay more attention or less attention.
It's really weird. Like the whole thing came off to me as, I don't know, like she's not even. Look, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but she's not really that attractive. She's okay. I mean, she's fine. And what she does is kind of boring. It's just sort of like there's a giant screen behind her. She's green screened, right? And she'll just point at an icon and go, "This is the control panel. It is used to." It's just all real boring, dusty stuff. I don't know how that would help anybody learn 95 any better than just somebody there in a suit.
95 too. That's the best part.
Yeah, right. Very, what's the word? It's very. Have you noticed this? Here's a question for Brian Ibbett. By the way, that's Brian Ibbett. I'm Scott Johnson. Welcome to the Morning Stream.
Oh, hi. Oh.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, February 17th, 2015. Here's the question for you. And I noticed this while I was capping the audio from that video. It used to be, to me anyway, that like 94, 95, 96, that kind of era, that the production quality of a commercial or of a movie or of anything back then looked fine. It didn't look outdated or super old or ridiculous. It's just now it's starting to. And I don't know when, and I feel like it's the last couple of years that clicked into place, because up till maybe a couple of years ago, I could see a movie made in 1996 and I wouldn't blink an eye. But now everything just seemed a little off to me. Is it just me?
No, I think there's something to that. I mean, you didn't notice at the time, but now, just recently, maybe it's high def. Maybe it's the addition of that. That I've noticed actually that with comic books.
Oh,
like,
really?
At the time, comic books in the 90s, didn't notice any difference, right? I mean, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe the pages are wider or who knows what, but boy, when you look at it now, you look at some of those comics now,
especially some of the characters, it's like
right,
something's weird. Hairstyles or something like that, like all the sometimes the way they walk or the way they, I don't know.
Well, it's just the way they're colorized. Like it's stuff like It's stuff like, oh god, who was the Typhoid Mary? Notice a big change in the way Typhoid Mary looked in the 90s. All hot pink neon on stark white newsprint paper.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a thing to that.
Isn't that weird? I don't know. I mean, I know everything eventually looks dated if you get far enough away from it, but I didn't expect the 90s to start looking that way so soon. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's not that soon because the 80s started looking dated in the 90s, but it's something's going on there. And it's still, things in the late 90s, I think they still hold up. They look fine. You'll see a movie, you'll see The Matrix and go, oh, that's fine. Looks great. No problems. But I think like 90 through 96 or so, we're in a bad place there.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We got a show to do. We got things to do. We got Jerry today. We have no Bill. Bill's on vacation. Bill's in Florida. Bill. Hey, Bill, what are you doing in Florida? He's laying out, dreaming of guns he'll make, I guess, or whatever Bill would dream about on the beach.
Right. He's dreaming of cutting foam into armor.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Happy Mardi Gras Day, by the way, everybody. Happy Fat Tuesday.
Ooh.
That's a big day for
right.
Many in the southern United States as well as other parts of the world. King cake is a big deal for that. Mm-hmm. And man, so last night.
So you had it last night.
We did. We had Fat Monday.
Okay.
Obese Monday, we call it. We did that just for time reasons. People had other stuff tonight, and there's usually
they got to go out and perform for beads is what they're doing tonight, right?
Well, there's you got to show us your boobs, and then you get some beads. And we had a ton of beads, by the way, big old box of beads. So everybody had beads. Nobody had to show us their boobs to get them. But we went. So it's a big group of people that normally get together for this tradition. It's Kim, her sister, and then a bunch of her sister's neighbors and friends, and then a bunch of our neighbors and friends, and we usually get together on Fat Tuesday, have the big whoop. Kim makes her famous jambalaya. This year's was incredible. Oh my gosh, so good. And other people make stuff. Sarah made red beans and rice, which to me looks like poop sludge, but whatever. Who am I to complain?
Not a fan of the red beans and rice?
No, not her. I mean, it tastes fine, but while I'm eating it, I feel like I'm in a German scat video or something. It's just gross.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. The look of it is all. She makes incredible beans. You close your eyes, you think you're in heaven. It's great. But then you open your eyes, you feel like a horrible error has occurred. It's just awful. Anyway, so that's all there, and then her sister, and her sister-in-law, Audra, made these king cakes, and my gosh, the king cakes never have been better. And keep in mind, all these girls from the South, they're all from the deep South, lived about 30 minutes from New Orleans, like they are in it to win it down there.
I saw those photos from Instagram of the king cakes.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
I'm making one this afternoon.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
tonight.
good, great.
Downloaded a recipe, and now I have to just go get one of those industrial methylamine drums of sugar. Me and Jesse are going to go use some thermite to break into the sugar warehouse.
Sure.
And roll out a big drum of.
That's
of
great.
sugar.
That's great. Make sure you if there's a fly in there, you'll be there all night trying to kill it.
Right.
So in comes these two giant cakes. They're just enormous, and somewhere hidden in there is a baby Jesus. A baby Jesus is in there because that's what you do. That's the tradition. If you eat the baby Jesus, you either choke to death and die, or you have a year of good luck. Mm-hmm. And
but
also,
if you choke to death and die, you're probably going to go to heaven.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
Probably the way it works.
Because the last thing you ate was Jesus.
It's like the lottery.
Right.
You don't have to be good, but you ate a baby Jesus out of a cake, so you're just automatically wheeled in.
Yeah, your last act on earth was choking on the baby Jesus. So you're in. You're in like Flynn. Anyway, it was amazing, but I maintain my stance. So even though there are a lot of other flavors going on, the one I ate was combination blueberry, lemon filling, and it was just bonkers good. And then all the colors and the sugar on top and all the stuff. And I didn't eat a ton of it. Okay, if my doctor's listening, I took it easy. Okay, just calm down, Dr. Harrison. Keep it in your pants. I hope he doesn't listen to the show.
What kind of exam does he give you?
Well, it was a little confusing. And
show me on this doll where the doctor touched you.
Oh Oh man, if I had to show you that'd be a rough.
Yeah, right. Actually, don't show.
Yeah, I'll show you that. So anyway, it was really fantastic, but I still maintain my position that king cake is essentially a giant monstrosity of what is basically a Cinnabon. It's just a giant Cinnabon that's gone awry, and it's so freaking good. And I really did have to stop myself. I had a nice little wedge. I did not get the Jesus. That didn't happen to me. We don't know who got it actually. There was some concern that maybe it was small enough.
So far, the Jesus was undiscovered?
Yeah, Jesus, and they may be passing the Jesus later. I don't know. It may have gone right down the gullet without noticing.
Maybe it just didn't make it into the cake.
Yeah, maybe, and that could have been too. So
the immaculate omission.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. That's awesome. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that before. That's very funny. My sister-in-law who put it in there looked genuinely worried the rest of the night that the whereabouts of the Jesus were unknown, and there was some concern there. By the way, it's like they say it's a baby Jesus. No, it's like she went down to Hobby Lobby and bought a little plastic kid. Like it's not like they have a section there that says the baby Jesuses. It's just a little plastic kid.
Right.
That I use for, I guess you use for other stuff. What do they use? I don't even know what you use that for, but like a little baby.
Well, if your manger, your little display manger gets robbed.
Yeah, you can put a little
get a little replacement plastic Jesus.
Pinch hitter.
I don't know what else you use those for.
Yeah, I don't know what they're for. It's a craft people could write in. Probably Marlissa could write in and tell us what those little babies are for.
That's right.
I know they're for
it's
something.
not something you want to step on the floor in bare feet. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, yeah. Think Legos have the market on that sewn up.
But
I beg
you will call out the thing you step on, which is
cheers. Like that time that what's his name? I can't think of his name all of a sudden. The ref. Remember the movie The Ref?
Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary's walking. They're sneaking into the house to break in, and
right.
there's a nativity scene, and there's a little chocolate Jesus there, and he eats it, and it's so old and stale that he proclaims the name of the object. It was hilarious. It's a good movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, best jambalaya ever. Everything was great, fantastic. We were in this. We had to do it not in. Usually it's their sister's house, but this year we had to do it at her sister's friend's house. They just moved to a freaking mansion, like I mean like monster house, just huge, beautifully decorated, gigantic monster of a house. And so that was really nice. And I feel like a real schlub in there with my hat on backwards, just looking like a total scrub. But anyway, it was great. Fat Monday success. I recommend it. Not necessarily on Monday. I hope you guys all have a good Fat Tuesday today. And I'm sure, there are a lot of people, I put those pictures up and people are like, what the hell is that? And so I had to do a little education. And here's how I do it, Brian. I reply and then I paste a Wikipedia article on king cake. Google it.
Nice. So Katrina in the chat room says that use them for baby showers. And I replied back and I said, what do you do with them at baby showers? Literally shower yourself with little plastic bababies?
You throw them like rice at a wedding?
Right, exactly. Whee!
I got a baby in my eye. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like you decorate table settings or something with them for a baby shower or something. I guess I could see that.
String them together and wrap them around the baby shower tree.
Right.
I really don't know what happens at baby showers.
The baby shower tree.
Yeah.
You know the one. And then later they all sing baby songs, door to door. What else? What other tradition can we mash in there? Everyone dresses up like a baby, goes door to door and asks for candy. It's a good time. That's
right. Yes. You look in the grass to try to find the baby, try to find the little plastic Jesus.
Well, I mean the awesome Spanish tradition of the pooping man in the Christmas nativity. Remember we talked about that?
What the heck is the deal with that?
So great. What a great thing, because it honestly, you hear about a tradition in another land and you go, oh, interesting. That's very interesting. I see what they did with the traditional dress and the whatever. Right. I get the point of it.
And usually it's even derived. Like it even has, that's kind of like our, Krampus is kind of like our Grinch or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can find some sort of connection.
Sure. Or you can say like, oh, our Santa Claus is definitely a homogenization of the original Kris Kringle character who's much different. Like you see the lineage of where it came from. Right. But the pooping man in Spain.
That's just completely disconnected from any other thing ever.
Right.
Ever.
It doesn't have any, there's no, the nativity scene otherwise is very traditional.
Sure.
Little baby Jesus, you got the Mary and Joseph, you got the dudes all around with the stuff. Like, it's all the normal thing, but there's somewhere hidden in there a little kid taking a crap. It's the stupidest, weirdest thing. Anyway, Spain, you guys are awesome. I love Spain. Okay, we got an email or a phone call I want to play now.
A phone call. Okay. That's like an audio email.
It is like that. You're right about that. 801-471-0462 is where these come from, and we got one today about the anti-gluten, or something like that. I'll play it, and you can figure it out.
Hey, Scott and Brian, this is Matt. Wanted to give you guys a quick call. First of all, let me start off by saying this is not an anti-gluten phone call. I am not ever going to tell anybody to go anti-gluten because I love gluten. I want gluten all the time. That being said, Scott, have you ever been tested for celiac disease? It is I don't know all the specifics, but basically your body can't handle gluten. My mother-in-law has it, and she spent most of her life trying to figure out why whenever she ate, she had an upset stomach and had pain and discomfort. And then it was just a couple of years ago that she discovered that she has celiac. Now that she's cut gluten out, she has no stomach problems at all.
All right. Yes. And it came back negative.
Okay.
So it ain't no gluten, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, the celiac disease is the thing that people.
They all jump to that. It's a common one.
Well, but I mean, that is the true gluten allergy.
Yeah,
It's
an
like
allergic reaction to
allergy,
gluten.
but like it's the aversion to gluten.
Sure. Correct. I think it is. I mean, technically it would be an allergy, wouldn't it? Like you.
Yes.
Yeah, because you eat it and you
react to it.
to it. Yeah. That turned out to be not it. I mean, there's also people who can be just sort of sensitive to that sort of thing. But that's true of anything. You can be sensitive to eggs. You can be sensitive to hot sauce. You can be like all that kind of stuff. No, that got ruled out. I in fact, king cake is proof that I can eat that and not have any trouble. Like, I feel great this morning, zero problems. And anybody with celiac disease who eats a big, huge piece of king cake should be writhing on the floor in pain. So that's all fine now.
You'd know after a wedge of king cake. You'd know if you have celiac disease.
You'd know right away. Anyway, so there's that. Hey, let's move on with Daryl. Moving on with Daryl. That's the spinoff of this show. That'll be like Flo or Enos.
Exactly. That'll be the name of it. Moving on with Daryl.
Yeah, moving on with Daryl. He'll be.
It's all flag songs and poop jokes.
Yeah, he retains that one part. You can't take everything out of it. The people
No.
Yeah, they know what they want. It's like Aftermash. You know what I forgot about? Aftermash didn't have radar in it. I thought it did. Aftermash was purely
Klinger, right?
Klinger,
Mulcahy,
and Potter, and that's it.
Just those three?
Yeah, that sucks. Like, not even the show sucked anyway. But that's your cast from MASH. Those were not your beloved characters. I mean, we like them for different reasons, but come on. It's terrible. Anyway. Oh, why didn't Daryl answer? That's weird.
Oh.
Hold on. Let's find out what's up with that. He just straight up denied the call.
Uh-oh.
Well, I know he's listening.
Now we've done it.
Now we've turned a corner. Okay. Let's see. Everyone cross your fingers. Fingers. Still nothing. Daryl, what are you doing, buddy? What's going on? Oh, now it answered.
What is going on?
I don't know.
There he is.
It is Stump a Truck Nerd, and it is brought to you by.
Well, hey, Scott and Daryl, do you like video games?
Yes.
Of course you do. Do you like indie games?
Yes.
Well, sure, even better. What about roundtable discussions with some humor thrown in?
I really like that.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Well, if you answered yes or sure to any of these questions, you owe it to yourself to check out the Nordy Dirkcast every week. Join four dudes in a basement as we talk about and review indie games, challenge each other for laughs, and give away the games we talk about. Check out the Nordy Dirkcast at nordydirk.com or search Nordy Dirkcast on iTunes.
Daryl, how you doing?
I'm good.
Well,
Ooh,
good.
I have a thing in my throat.
Whoa, that's
Where's
not
my
good.
mute button?
That's not good. You got a plastic baby in your throat? Is that what's going on?
Maybe.
I see how it is. Well, good. It's good to have you here. And oh, Brian.
Oh, jeez.
Let's jump into Stump a Trek Nerd time. Daryl is the Trek nerd. Comes on the show, answers hard trivia about Star Trek, and we like that because we like Star Trek. We like the banter that occurs in between, and Daryl's here to help with that. Daryl, I got a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, like us, was MASH a big part of your childhood? the TV show.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Okay, so last
Of course,
night,
when Daryl was young, it was the actual Korean War.
yeah. Of course. We were last night watching an episode, and it occurs to me as it begins. I went, we're all trying to go to bed. And the kids are like, one more show, Dad, before I go to bed. I'm like, fine, school tomorrow. Come on, let's go to bed. Anyway, so we start watching the episode where Henry Blake leaves. And it starts, and I went, oh my gosh, is that one where Henry Blake leaves the show? Everyone shut up and pay attention. Like I get all serious. Everybody's got to pay really.
Moment in TV history, kids.
Yeah, this is a big moment. It is listed currently on some website as the 16th most shocking moment in in television history. So we have to pay attention. So I'm making everybody just like no whispering, no talking, no nothing. Everybody's just glued to the TV to watch this. And Carter knows me by now, that she knows I like to make her see things that make her emotional. And I do it, and I don't know why I do it. I think I do it because I like to see that there is a pure form of emotional outlet left in the world, where you can see a thing like the first 10 minutes of Up, or the part where Jenny dies on freaking Forrest Gump, or spoiler, but all those kinds of things, or the dog episode on Futurama even.
Oh, jeez, yeah, right.
She bawls her eyes out with that episode, and she's seen it multiple times, and every time she cries. So she's just a little emotional girl, and I like it because there's a purity about the way she reacts to things that are sweet and soulful and whatever. So that's really my motivation last night, is to get Carter to have no idea what's coming, and then to see her reaction. Like, I feel like I'm in a test tube kind of situation here. I'm in a lab, and I'm testing my kids. So
or
we
a
get
torture chamber.
big time. So we get done with the entire episode, and Henry gets on the helicopter, and before he does, he sees Radar, and then Radar's crying, so he comes down and hugs Radar and tells him he'll come back and kick his butt or whatever, and then he gets on the helicopter and flies off. And I look over at Carter, and already she's kind of feeling it. Mm-hmm. She thinks that's it, though. So she thinks that's the end of it, and I look over at her, and I go, how you doing? She goes, fine, like that. And then the next scene shows up, and she goes, oh, why did he have to leave the show? And I go, quiet, everybody, quiet. This is really important. And then Radar walks in. Trapper yells, Radar, put on a mask. And I'm going to say Klingon, not Klinger. Freaking Hawkeye says some joke. And then he says, Lieutenant Henry Blake's plane. There were the whole thing, right? The no survivors.
There were no survivors.
It's really effective still. That is a hell of an episode. Like, really powerful stuff. And I've gone down a rabbit hole since about their thinking behind the decision to do that, how the backlash was really heavy, and at one point CBS was so angry that because back in the day, reruns were common. Like, all the time there'd be reruns. I feel like that stopped with Lost. But anyway, they would run reruns of the show when they weren't new episodes, and they cut that last part out. Like, there was some weird behind-the-scenes stuff going on with that episode. Anyway, Carter's complete mess. So what does she do? I mean, she's bawling her eyes out. She's upset beyond words. Nick's even a little teary over there. She gets up, and she barrels over the bed where I'm laying next to Kim. They're in our room. Barrels over the bed and starts hitting me in the arm so hard that, like, right now it actually is throbbing a little bit, my arm. So anyway,
good.
There you go. I deserve that one because and I knew she was gonna have the hardest time with it. Anyway, all right. I just wanted to make sure I told that story because why the hell not? Daryl, it's good to have you back. How you doing? You good? You ready for this? You feeling it?
Yeah, I am ready. Yes.
All right. Let's do it then. Here is a next generation question that comes in the form of a clip. Your decision of what this clip comes from hinges right now.
It is my understanding that in most human families, the woman shares in the cooking.
All right, nice and short.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
he took our advice. Your options are A, time squared. Time squared, sorry. B, where silence has lease. C, contagion. Or D, the emissary.
Time Squandered is the TMS cover show.
You're not kidding about that. Time squared. I did it again. Time squared. Where silence has lease, contagion, or the emissary. And while you think about those things very carefully in your heart,
Are you hungry?
Aren't you hungry?
What's a foodie?
we have from Thorigan, a.k.a. Steve. Well, he's Steve, a.k.a. Thorigan. He sent a bunch of stuff, and one of these... So here I'm going to read this. Dear Seoul, Busan, and I should know that. That's a Korean thing. I recently got to travel to South Korea for several weeks for work, and while I was there, I had to pick up a few unusual items for food tasting on TMS. I've sent a few sodas, a few bags of chips, 6 different types of candy to try. I didn't sample everything, but I don't think there's anything too horrible. Just different. I expect the candies, for example, to be sweeter, but I still enjoyed them once I got over the expectation. They're never sweeter. All their candy stuff over there in Korea, weirdly bland. Like they don't do the sugar like we do. Hope you enjoy. Annyeong haseo. I should know that because my brother says it all the time. Anyway, okay, that just translates to hello, blah, 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 da-da-da, Steve. Okay. Thanks, Steve.
I still can't find what Aranda snacks are made from.
Yeah, there's no... it's all Korean, so we don't... It does feature... We talked about this before the show, but it features the world's largest barcode. So I wonder, actually, Brian, if my phone...
Ooh, there's a weird greasiness. Hold on a second. All right, if you look at the top of the bag, actually, if you look at the whole bag, it's almost like if there's a thin layer of bag,
Oh yeah.
transparency, and then there's like a...
It's like a whitish separation kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah, you're seeing that too?
Yeah.
And it moves if you rub your finger on it.
Well, I'm going to scan this barcode. Maybe it'll tell us.
Oh, it does. How weird.
It's like a transparent liner outside the bag, and it's like they use it for Rorschach tests or something.
Well, the good news is the barcode scanner has no idea what the hell this is, so it came back and said this is not a registered food item.
Great.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm opening it. You've already done such.
7-Eleven Select, too.
Yeah, we like that fake 7-Eleven logo.
Oh, it is a double weird bag thing.
Oh, look at that. I
When
can't
you
even...
open it, it all separates.
They smell like packing peanuts.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Okay.
I still can't get into the real bag. I'm just in the... I've just gotten into the space blanket layer.
Take off the space blanket. When is that? How did you see last night's episode? I haven't seen it.
No, not yet.
Okay,
Not
I'll
yet.
watch it today. Better call Saul,
Ooh,
dude.
Okay.
Okay, you
There
ready?
is a fragrance.
Yeah, and it
coming
smells
from
like
the-
packing.
There's a faint old lady with a mask smell.
What?
A faint old lady with a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at a hospital, or like, I don't know.
Like
Very sterile, like a sterile old lady.
like a sterile old lady. Like a that's a great old standard. You always like to hear that sung. All right, well here's nothing. I don't know what to do here. I guess just
Yeah.
eat it.
That's very weird.
Actually, that's not bad. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't taste. I mean, like you see the lack of sweetness I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of there,
There's
but
a
it's
faint
not.
hint of like, ooh, hey, sweet. Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
If your
bad.
taste buds haven't been burned out by years of sugar, this would be really sweet, probably.
That's what my brother says. Like, he brings stuff up from over there all the time. My Korean brother, and he says they just don't have the sweet tooth we do, and traditionally you just can't get anything. I mean, there's none of even the most candy of candies over there is not sweet. It's really weird. Yeah, it's
It's
good.
good, though.
Yeah, I don't mind this. I could eat these. What are they? I still wish I kind of knew what they were made of.
I do too, yeah. It's funny. Catmo says it looks like a buttery crouton cube. Kind of what it tastes like, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hate them, though. I kind of like them, to be honest. All right. Daryl, we got a birthday to celebrate somehow, somewhere?
Oh, yes, that would be Ed McCready. Would have been 86 today. He passed away in 2002 at age 73. He was in 5 TOS episodes, and yeah.
Ed
He played
McCready, it sounds like a guy that like lives up the road at some farm and nobody wants to go by there because he's angry and will...
Don't go by that old McCready house.
Yeah,
You'll
but-
get shot.
About down by the old McCready place. You know, they say there's 4 dead hookers buried in the back. It's like that. I don't like that guy's name at all. He gives me the creeps. He's a guy who would
When you
shoot you
see
with
the-
a salt gun or something.
When you see the picture of Ed McCready, or Ed McCready, if you want to look up that spelling. He's got a very kind of a generic look to him, which means they can do whatever they want with makeup and dress him up to look like other people.
Let's see.
He was a Nazi guy on the Nazi planet.
Yeah,
he was the boy creature that ran out and died on the ground in front of everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking right
Mary.
here. He had a couple of westerns, it looks like. Did an episode of Columbo. Was in Super Dad, Disney's Super Dad.
Dick Tracy.
Apple Dumpling Gang.
Batman.
Batman.
The original movie.
You know, I have a theory they'll never make another Dick Tracy movie. Have I ever told you my theory? Because there's an entire, I think, 2 generations now who don't have any idea who the hell Dick Tracy is.
Sure. Well, but that's who you do it for. Like, you reintroduce it to a whole new generation.
I guess, but then I don't think it works as well because the comic was that's a valuable lead up to otherwise the weirdest movie. Like, I feel like I feel like that's a hard job. I'll bet you money we never see another Dick Tracy movie ever.
This guy's funny. He was on like about a dozen different episodes of Simon and Simon, Murder, She Wrote, and Columbo, all playing different people.
Great.
Like,
on the same show.
On the same show. Like, isn't that first crewman the same guy who played the pawnbroker and then the bartender in that other episode? And then
It's kind of like Harry Morgan showing up in season 3, episode 2 or 3 of MASH as some totally different guy.
Right.
And then season 4 coming in as Colonel Potter. Totally weird. They don't do that anymore, really. Can't think of an example where that happens in a show that I can think of. I mean, other than like Star Trek, people will dress up in heavy makeup and then show up a bunch of times, like Jeffrey Combs or whoever. But
you don't see, Boyd Crowder, Walton Goggins didn't appear in another episode of Justified as gas station attendant number 5.
Right. It's a weird old money saving technique or something from back in the day. I think a lot of it was people didn't invest in TV as a thing. Remember when TV was like the ugly stepchild of movies? Like there was movies and then there's TV and nobody ever crossed over. Now it's like the place to be on TV. Like real movie actors want giant TV deals and get their awesome shows. Like it's just changed. But it used to be, it's like, oh yeah, Hasselhoff, he'll never be in a movie because he's stuck on TV. Like, it's just TV was such a different place.
He's a bad example though because he's never done a decent movie.
That's a good point. He really hasn't.
Didn't he play Nick Fury in a movie? And he was like the first Nick Fury actor.
But like guys like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like he was even in that era. TV is crappy compared to movies. So once you leave the bonds of TV, the thinking is, oh, you'll never have to come back to this.
Right. You graduate from TV to movies.
Yeah, but now it's highly respectable to say, hey, McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, come on back and do something rad on TV.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's such a different time now. TV is so weird.
And people leave TV for movies thinking that they're going to be all great and everything, and then they just disappear forever.
Yeah, then they go away. The best kind, the ones I like lately are the ones that have been in movies forever, and now they're just suddenly doing TV, and it's really good. Like, I don't know that Kevin Bacon show is very good. It's not really, but it's cool to see Kevin Bacon doing TV.
Following?
Yeah.
No. The Following?
Following
it's
all
right.
It's all right. It's okay. It's not great. But like, Kiefer Sutherland and 24. 24 was a hell of a thing. And then, he came from movie.
Right. Lost Boys and Flatliners.
And that's where they died and then came back. All right, Daryl, let's get back to your question here. This is about that that episode with Worf there talking. Just for funsies, we'll play it one
It
more
is
time.
my understanding that in most human families, the woman shares in the cooking.
All right, so
in
he's
the toilet?
Yeah, he's in there taking a big
They're
wee.
cooking in the toilet.
Yeah, taking a wee from one of his redundant pee organs. And it's one of these episodes that represents Time Squared, where silence has leads, Contagion, or The Emissary. What do you say?
Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm going to say C or D. This is not one that jumped out and said what it was to me right away, and probably would never.
Yeah.
I'll say D, because saying C seems too obvious.
C plus C and contagion both start with C. And that seems a little fishy to me. All right, well, let's find out if it's D. You say it's the emissary. Is it?
No.
It is on the other side, the A answer. Time squared. Riker cooked some Owan egg omelets for the first time, for a few of his homies.
Oh, that's right.
Riker says he was in charge of cooking as a child since his father hated cooking. Worf makes that sexist comment. He meant then. Right. Nicely done, Mike. Nice, badly done, Daryl. That's 2 in a row that are wrong. That puts you at 4 down on the year.
I'm ripping this one up.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, that's all right, because Daryl will show up on a great little show called This Week in Trek at thisweekintrek.com. You can go listen to that anytime your little heart pleases. And the Grumpy Cast. Daryl, play a game with us now.
Okay, I will as soon as I get ready and bring this up and tell it to you.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Star Trek food or British food?
Here's your theme.
We end up looking like a monkey f***ing a football out there.
All right, great.
That was actually from that most recent Randy Quaid video, wasn't it?
It was. Totally was.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I want that. That should be my ringtone.
So gross.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Stargazy pie.
Stargazy pie?
Stargazy pie?
Oh, gosh.
Could be Stargazy.
It could be, but can I just say for the record, so it's at least known, that I think that's a terrible phrase regardless of where it comes from?
Right, whether it's real British food or fake Star Trek food, it's bad.
Yeah, but I can see a British person going, "Oh, I love it when he makes his Stargazy pie."
Right. I'm thinking that he is trying to give us the old fake out, that it's really real British food.
All right, we say British food.
Am I giving you the fake out or am I giving you the double fake out? Well, I'll tell you now. This is a fish pie where the fish heads are sticking out of the crust as though stargazing. It is British.
Yay!
Ugh.
Ew, that's disgusting.
God, that is really bad.
Ugh. People really, you should ask
Fish head pie.
You should talk to your family about that one. Is that real? It must be real. If Daryl says it, I believe him.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
It is the news brought to you by.
Do you enjoy Magic the Gathering?
Yep.
Do you like beginning these ads with questions?
Yep.
Check out On the Stack, the Magic the Gathering podcast with the Tadpool's very own Mike, Iceworm, and Todd, Warcrusher. Find us at iceworm.org/magic or on iTunes and Stitcher.
Well, all right then.
Do that.
Utah Woman. We've done Utah Woman before, I think. Have we?
Sure.
Okay. I know we've done Utah Man.
I'm pretty sure we've done Utah Man. Oh my gosh, is that really a Stargazy pie brain goo?
Ooh, let's see.
That is the foulest thing ever.
Let's take a look here. Oh gosh. Is it? It looks photoshopped.
It does look photoshopped.
If that's real, no one's eating that. Right?
Exactly.
Right? No one's eating that.
No one's eating
Please
that.
tell me no one's eating that. Oh my gosh, that's foul.
Oh, the next pie is even funnier.
All right. Hold on.
Captain Kipper's photo.
Oh, now that looks real. Is that real? Do you eat that?
I think that's real.
What do you eat? Do you eat the fish?
I think I wouldn't. I mean, I imagine you cut it out and then you say, "Oh, let me just discard the." Yeah, I mean, because you're not going to eat. You might eat the fish cheeks, but you're not going to eat the fish head. Fish cheeks are a delicacy.
Are they? That sounds really gross too to me. That's foul. I don't want a pie that had that in there. That looks like a cartoon pie.
It does, right? It looks like something you serve to a cartoon cat.
Yeah. Yeah, or they order, like on the Sesame Street, Grover ordered that for that poor purple bald guy who's just sick of getting the wrong food all the time. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, chat room. We appreciate your time. You distracting bunch of freaks. Here's an article about a Utah woman. We got a woman here that says she has caught she's caught every bridal bouquet she's ever went to catch at a wedding.
There's her power right there.
Yep. We don't even need to know her power.
Catches every bridal bouquet that's thrown her way. Excelsior, you silly person, you.
Never married. Utah woman says she's smashed the world record by catching bridal bouquets at weddings, is now seeking recognition for it. Salt Lake City's Jamie Jackson submitted an application Wednesday to Guinness World Records saying she's caught 46 bouquets since 1996 and has documentation to prove it. That'd be the key, right? You got to prove it.
That's the best part of this whole article. It has the documentation to prove it. Like, could you sign this thing saying that I did catch the bouquet first at this wedding?
I wonder if it's all video or something. That'd be interesting.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
The current record of 11 bouquets caught by Stephanie Monyak. Oh, this is an actual record, I guess, in Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, vampires. Has stood since 2004. Jackson said she attended as many as 100 weddings over the years because of her family's connections to musical theater and their church. She jokes that what started out as a hobby has turned into her sport. It's something something you have to plan for, and you have to be very strategic about where you place yourself, she told local channel KSL. I hate KSL. My strategy. Sorry, I got a little a rando shack or snack in my gut here. She says my strategy is to be right up in the front because a lot of the time the brides don't know how far they're going to throw it. A lot of times it will hit a ceiling or hit a chandelier. This is true. I've seen this. I've had many. I've had many catches where I've had to jump for it. I've hit little kids by accident. Oh, the truth coming out, the dark truth.
And the Guinness World Record for most annoying person to invite to your wedding.
That lady
right there.
Utah woman.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Obnoxious.
Very obnoxious. I don't like it. It's a bad lady. She should stop it. Woz, Steve Wozniak?
Yeah, going to be played by Seth Rogen in the upcoming movie.
It's not a very good version of that voice.
No, it was actually very good.
I can't do it.
It's like a Muppet.
I can't do it. Steve Wozniak, the actual one, the one who's out there now living
on his Segway playing polo right now as we speak.
Yeah, of course. He says the Apple Watch is art and millions will buy it. Woz is known to use and like many Android devices currently. He loves the Android stuff. However, now that Apple Watch is due to emerge shortly, he's smitten, he says, in a new interview with the BBC. Oh, hello, Mr. Wozniak. Hello. He explains that Apple simply makes products more fun than anyone else, unquote. The Apple Watch's display, quote, is like a little piece of art, he says. Hip camp areas. Or no, he says he believes that everyone in hip camp areas will be salivating so much that they'll want it instantly. What is a hip camp area?
I was just trying to figure it out. Like hip, okay, sure. Like a hip area would be like Seattle and
San Francisco
San Jose,
or whatever.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much Little Rock.
Yeah, maybe not.
Camp areas.
I think he means like campy, like.
Still,
it's
like
still
camp
weird.
Areas.
Camp areas, like hip camp area. Like people are out sleeping out overnight in a tent. They're gonna really want this watch. He says, but they will be hippie campers. Oh, I see. They are even asking the question. How will this watch possibly appeal to young audiences, some of whom have never heard of watches? Woz believes the Apple Watch will have features.
Some of whom have never heard of watches. I think even kids these days probably have heard of a watch, even though they don't own one. They don't use, they use their smartphone to tell time.
Yeah,
CNET.
Yeah, a lot of them wear stuff just to wear it too.
Watch?
Like, this is kind of bullcrap.
What say you about this watch?
Yeah, he says, just look at how many people have the diabetes. He says, if this thing's actually measuring blood sugars and monitoring them all day long, oh my gosh, there's a built-in niche market for that. That's huge already. No pun intended. Oh man,
I wish he would have said the no pun intended.
I wish he would have too.
Yeah.
Audience, that was me. I intervened. Well, all right, that's coming out soon, so I'm very curious about that thing. I still I don't wear a watch, haven't for like literally 15 plus years, so I don't even know if I want a watch, but I'll be convinced by somebody, and
of course
probably end up
it won't be me. I won't try to convince you to buy it. I will buy it. Look, I'm a watch collector. I love watches. Tina can vouch for me that I've got this like collection of watches upstairs. Shield watches, Pebble watches, Tokyo Flash. I used to buy crap. Well, okay. I used to buy shit from Tokyo Flash all the time. Forgot what show I was on.
You ever have like a big fancy Rolexy kind of thing, or no?
No. I think the most expensive watch I've got is probably like $150 watch. None of these $300, $400 Rolex or whatever.
I bought a fake Rolex,
$1,000 Rolex.
I bought a fake Rolex in Tijuana, and it broke before I got to San Diego.
I'm amazed that it didn't break before you put it on your wrist.
I know. It worked. I was really thrilled. I was like, hey, this is working. And on the bus back to the border to where our car was parked, or however we got back. Anyway, before we got back to San Diego, it quit working. It was ridiculous. I think I still have it, though, in a box. And it looks good. It's heavy and looks like looks real, but didn't work real. Ooh, piece of poo, that thing. Hey, HelloFresh.com. HelloFresh.com is sponsoring the show. And
Yay.
You think I just talk about them because, I kind of like them. No. I really like HelloFresh. Like, I'm over the moon with HelloFresh. As a guy who has to start eating healthier generally all the time, it turns out they've kind of got my back that way. I can visit HelloFresh anytime I want. HelloFresh.com is the place. I can see what their actual chefs are creating that week. They're like, oh, look at this new recipe. What do you think of this? And I say, I think I'd like that. They send me those exact farm fresh ingredients straight to my door. They deliver anywhere in the U.S. now. And they'll send you what you need to make that meal in 30 minutes or less. Visit them today at HelloFresh.com, like I always tells you. Use the code MorningStream at checkout for 50% off for you first-time customers. That's 50% off with the code MorningStream. Brian, there are penguins in the world. You're familiar with the penguin?
Yeah, I've seen pictures of them. They're
little bird
they all
men.
Sound like Morgan Freeman, don't they? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a little egg under their
I'm
crotch.
going to take this egg and carry it 400 miles to my next destination.
I'm going to stand in the cold tundra.
Where I'll sit on this egg.
Yeah. Keep it warm with my genitalia. Well, penguins have apparently lost their ability to taste fish.
Oh.
Yeah, this seems like a real shame.
Well, it probably lets them eat that stargazy pie much better.
Actually, that does look like a thing a fish would want to, or a penguin
would want to eat.
Yeah. A genetic study suggests the flightless bird lost 3 of the 5 basic tastes a long time ago, according to sort of evolutionary tests. Taste is critical for survival in most animals, but may not matter to the penguin, which swallow the fish whole, says researchers in China and the U.S. Ooh, look at us coming together on something. That's great.
Nice.
Many of the birds are unable to taste sweet things, but they do have receptors for detecting bitter and umami, or meaty flavors, is what that's referring to. So if you get something meaty, they can detect that. But if it's a fish,
what if it's a meaty fish?
Well, I guess it could be a meaty fish. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different. Umami is a very different thing. It's like a hearty. It's like if the color brown had a flavor, it would be umami.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's most birds. Turns out the penguins, however, seems to be based on their behavior. They swallow all their food whole, and their tongue structure and function, the way a lot of it looks, they don't need it. They don't need taste perception at all. Which seems a little weird because taste is kind of partly what keeps us surviving. Like if Brian tastes something disgusting, like he gets a little taste of one of those weird Mexican cookies.
Yogurt soda.
Yeah, and he does this. That's him. That's his natural reaction to not want to, keep eating it, which could mean he could get sick or hurt or die or whatever.
If you couldn't taste any food anymore, right? Let's say you lost your sense of taste. And I'm not saying you specifically because you're a skinny dude.
Yeah.
But do you think overall people would lose weight if they lost their ability to taste food? Like food all of a sudden is just sustenance.
Gruel.
You're just eating to survive.
Like that mush and that Mouse was eating on the Matrix.
On the Matrix. Yeah, right.
Same idea.
Right.
So you get all your nutrition and everything you never need, but it's in this tasteless kind of gruel liquid. Yeah, I think people would. I think that part of the reason that people overeat is because it's really good.
Food tastes good. Twinkies taste good.
Yeah, yum yum, right?
So a rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna eat them.
Nice reference. No, I like that reference. That was good. Based on genetic data, finally says this thing, penguins are believed to have sour and salty tastes, but have lost sweet, meat, and bitter tastes, says lead professor Jing Zhang of the University of Michigan and Wuhan University, China. That guy works, he plays both sides of the court there. Flies back and forth.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but anyway.
I think that's what it says on his business card.
Finally, here in more medical news, a nurse has been charged with putting hot sauce in patients' mouths.
Wow.
Central.
It's a very food-centric news today, right?
The whole show feels that way.
Like
king cake.
Stargazy pie, I guess, came from before that, but king cake and jambalaya, I guess, it's Fat Tuesday.
It is Fat Tuesday. We're eating Orlando snacks or Oranda snacks. Like, when will it end? Who knows? Right now, we're going to tell you about Central Florida woman. What's her power? We've never done Central Florida.
Right. Central Florida woman would be able to visit Orlando because it's pretty much right there at any time she wants to. Excelsior.
Nice. Central Florida woman has been suspended. Oh, no. Her nursing license has been taken away after she was charged with placing hot sauce into the mouths of 2 sleeping dementia patients.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord. Tracy Nellis was charged last summer with battery on a person age 65 or older and misdemeanor battery. Those never last as long. Misdemeanor batteries, get it?
Misdemeanor batteries?
She pleaded no contest to the battery charge. The battery charge! That's great.
That's almost HuffPo worthy, but this is from the Washington Times.
Yeah, the Washington Times getting into the pun game here.
Oh.
Anyway, was sentenced to 1 year probation. The State Board of Nursing ruled last week that Nellis could give up her license to avoid disciplinary proceedings, so she just could, stop being a nurse. She worked at this Willingston Rehabilitation Center and Nursing Center when the incident happened in March of 2013. Her and another employee got arrested, and charges at the time were dropped, and now now it's all back. Anyway, the point is, don't do that. You're a caregiver.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's mean.
Horrible.
That's mean. Now, that being said,
oh no,
I used to sneak hot sauce into Taylor's food. Not real hot stuff, like real mild.
Sure.
Barely, because she really didn't like it.
Tabasco or something.
Sure, something mild, and I would sneak it into like something once in a while, and it was this running joke. Still is. Like, we'll go out to dinner, and I'll put a little bit while she's not looking, and she'll eat it and get mad and hit me in the arm. My daughter's hit me in the arm a lot. That happens a lot.
I used to sneak trace amounts of iocane powder into Tristan's food.
What?
So that he could develop a tolerance for it.
Oh, I see. Just a little bit of arsenic, just to because of one day,
yeah, right.
You want him to be able to be a little resistant if somebody ever truly tried to poison him. I see.
That's right, exactly.
I like that. Tweaked Audio sponsoring today's show. Check them out, tweakedaudio.com, with all their earbuds and their iPhone compatibility and their Android phone compatibility and their durability and their lifetime warranty and their pink and their black and their silver and their wood and their textured and their mic'd and their non-mic'd classics. So much and more. Go to tweakedaudio.com. Use the code STREAM at checkout for 33% off. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Justin Robert Young will be here. No idea what he's coming with today. Zero idea. We never do, so that's
of
just
course,
how it
yeah,
is.
it's always a surprise.
Yeah, but he'll be here, and we'll have some emails after that. Before all that, Brian has music. What do you bring me?
Well, Daniel wrote in and said, I had the privileged surprise of being flown out to Wyoming for a job interview last Friday. I can't imagine Wyoming and privileged surprise ever being used in the same sentence. At the age of 24, this is a big jump for me, as I may be moving to the Mountain Time Zone, the only time zone that matters. They should be contacting me Wednesday, so here's some wishful thinking. Who got was het eval, which is love the show, though, backwards.
No.
And his request was basically, anything with wishful thinking and positive thoughts. So my first place I was going to go is, all right, wishful thinking, go west. They had the king of wishful thinking, but that is kind of still a negative song, right? It's about this guy whose life is crummy, but he lives this lie that he'll get over his girlfriend and he'll pretend his ship's not sinking because he's the king of wishful thinking. Didn't think that would work.
Yeah.
So how about something with a real positive message and something with kind of a job and employment theme?
I'm in.
And the intersection of those two streets is Laverne and Shirley. And the theme song to Laverne and Shirley, Making Our Dreams Come True. How about a version of that song by a group called Those Darn Accordions? Some interesting vocals on this, by the way. From their 2002 album, Amped, here is Those Darn Accordions with Making Our Dreams Come True.
Before we get started, there are some things that you should make sure you have in order to run Windows 95 successfully. You need at least a 486 processor with 8 megabytes of RAM and a hard drive with about 50 megabytes of free disk space to be happy with Windows 95.
Only a ninja can stop a ninja.
The morning stream. My bumhole hurts.
All right, Fletcher. Okay. Calm down there, buddy. Your bumhole hurts. Yeah, Greta, the Windows 95 lady. She's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. That was a cool song too, by the way.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody's found this. Johnny Cash did a cover of the Laverne and Shirley theme song at one point.
No way.
Never released it on an album, unfortunately. So I had to have a hard time finding it. But it's on YouTube. There's a link right there.
Is it your? Oh, really? Let's play it. Was it in the
Okay.
chat?
Yeah. It's Captain Kipper.
Play a
put a
taste
link
of
to
it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it.
This is great.
We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Doing it our way.
Great. He's got a bunch of guys in the back going, doing it our way.
I really wish you would have began it with Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Oz and Pepper Incorporated.
That's a missed opportunity. That's great, dude. Wow. All right. I'm all impressed with what we just witnessed. All right. Let's call Daryl. Or not Daryl. A freaking Jerry. Let's call Jerry. No Daryl. We're done with Daryl.
Done with Daryl. We're moving on from Daryl.
Moving it on up from our way. Gotta cue up his thing to start it. Here it is. Okay. Here we go. Ringing the Justin. Ringing in the new year with Justin.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
All the other Justins in my life are young people. Like
and Justin Robert Young is an old
man. But lots of teenagers and little kids I know named Justin. I don't know
It's
what.
a popular name, man. People love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Do you feel like though you are running around with a younger person's name?
No, because I always thought it was a very name of my era. Like it was a very like you had a boy in the early 80s and you didn't name him Brian, so you named him Justin. Like,
right.
You know,
it's a good point. The other day I was looking at a list of names that are all out of favor, and there are some doozers in there. Like it's mostly like Margaret and people named Hamilton and things like that. But there's some in there that they think are going away that are hitting a little close to home, like Steve and Frank, I guess.
Wait, Steve's are on the way out?
Well, according to this website, and hey, as it turns out, there are a lot of websites, and this is just one of them, and they have no real authority on anything, so there's a good chance they're full of it.
We got to start regulating this crap.
That's what I'm saying, man. Somebody swoop in here and let's get some truth.
These websites are getting out of control.
Yeah. As my good former gaming buddy, I guess he's a friend, but as Kurt Schilling would say, throw your Snopes at this. He says it all the time. He thinks Snopes is bullcrap. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Snopes is the very.
We need another Snopes that will tell him that Snopes is correct and has a green light next to it.
I mean, really the. All right. I think we had a Kurt Schilling conversation.
We did a couple of weeks ago.
He has always been somebody that I've always very much enjoyed. But I would just say, Kurt, man, like they go to the sources.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna believe Snopes.
Yeah.
Snopes isn't a monolith of truth. Just go ahead and read what they're citing, then make a decision.
Yeah. Do that, and then there's two things that happen if you go to Snopes. One, you'll clarify something you want to know the truth about, hopefully. And two, you'll realize that Snopes needs to hire a web designer.
Oh God, yeah.
It's the worst.
There are a few sites that like I always Drudge Report is so backwards that now it's forward again.
Yeah.
Because like it went through like a decade of being the crappiest design website ever until we started all living on mobile bandwidth.
Yeah.
And it was like now really smart that it loaded in 5 seconds because it was the crappiest website ever.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's not that different, honestly, than like Reddit's interface or a lot of these things. Like this idea that we were going to boldly enter into the brave new era of quote unquote Web 2.0 for whatever that means.
Yeah, well, then everything was going to be like, it was Flash for a while, and then like even with HTML5, that everything we were just gonna like operate by like having eye tracking, bring a fish, to swallow whatever link we're like thinking about at the right time, and it's like, no, it's just links.
Yeah,
it's just stupid links on a page, and we click on them like we have since 1992.
As it turns out, that's kind of all we care about.
Just give us the links, bro.
Give us a link. All right. Speaking of links, you are a link to our future, our past, our present, and you come on the show on Tuesdays, and you say things, and you have things, and you have thoughts. You have stuff to say, and I don't even know what's in today's package. Like, what if I cracked you open now? What would fall out?
Well, first off, I just want to wish Bill Duran a happy vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice that he's. I know traveling's hard. You can't do the show all the time, right? You certainly can't like stand under a blaring TSA warning, because you want to make your obligation to the show. I totally.
Please come to a white paging telephone.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know anyone who braves travel and still gets on the show. Like that's unheard of. We don't do that.
Just for that, I'm gonna make this longer than a normal episode where I go second. I'm gonna talk for an hour and a half.
Brilliant. FCC says great. Go for it.
Yeah.
Whatever
so go
you
ahead.
have.
Clear your schedules, kids.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be a filibuster.
Yeah. And no fitness will be talked about, which is too bad.
No fitness. No. You want to know what? Here, I'm gonna do Fitness Geek.
All
Do
right.
whatever you want. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like we live in a world where you're defined by your creativity and not your body type. Go ahead and eat everything. Eat it all. Who cares?
Wow. This is some bad advice. I like it.
Anti-fitness geek.
I like it. Yeah.
You want to know what? This is what happens when Bill's away for 1 week. I'm going to burn his village down.
Yeah.
with terrible eating advice.
Well, they don't have internet in Florida. That's that's what he told me.
No, that's the other problem. Is Florida. Come on, who could ever even do a show in Florida?
Yeah, I know. It sticks way out. It's clearly out of the range of Wi-Fi. I mean, what are you gonna do? Anyway, well, it's good to have you back, man. What's going on? What are you feeling? What are you having? What's going on?
Oh, what were you guys talking about earlier in the show?
MASH. Talked about MASH again. Talked about torturing my daughter with
lots of
emotional
food
moments.
Stuff. I mean,
food things.
Fat Tuesday, King Cake Jambalaya,
Mm-hmm.
people who work in nursing homes and put hot sauce in their patients' mouths.
Yeah, a psychology I cannot seem to wrap my head around. I want to talk to Wendy about this. What would drive a seemingly trained professional to... I know they're in a position of power over a bunch of old people with dementia, but what would possess them to take a little dropper of hot sauce and put it into the mouths of these people just to see their reaction? That to me is just beyond humanity. I don't know what that is.
So I'm going to take a guess. All right. Number one, Scott, this person's an asshole. Like I'm dropping truth bombs here, but like this person is not a good person at all.
Yeah.
Number two, even if you were not an a-hole, I would imagine that dealing with people with dementia every single day of your life is trying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
You would be at your wit's end if you were the nicest person on the planet. So combine that with the fact that this person is probably an a-hole. Like he does not look at, like we look at it from our vantage point and be like, oh my God, you're taking advantage of these poor people, right? He looks at it as like, these demons make me clean up their poop every day, and now I'm gonna get a little revenge on them.
Do you think it's revenge, or is it sick curiosity? Is it like somebody who tortures an animal? You know what I mean? Like somebody who...
I mean, column A, column B, right? Like, I would say it wouldn't surprise me either way. But this is something that I was actually going to talk about on Jury, and I probably will too. But like, we often get in these situations. I got an email from a guy that was like, my mom and dad, and I assume by the context of his email that his dad works with him, were both smokers. He hates smoke, right? He has made it like a priority in his life because of his childhood that he wants to stay as far away from smoke as possible. So now his dad has become a vapist.
Yeah,
He
like
vapes.
a vapor.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The vapors are, I've made a comment once to the consternation of a few vaping friends that I hate the term vaping.
Yeah.
I really do hate it. It's annoying and it's obnoxious and it's.
No, I saw it. No, Dills went hard on you.
Yeah, Dills went
Twitter,
hard on
right?
me even because he's super into vaping, which is fine. I think that's great. Helped him quit smoking. It's a healthier alternative. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. I agree with all of it. The entire vape thing, totally in, man.
Sure.
Sign Scott up. I'm just saying the name sucks. That's all I'm
and
saying.
because when you shorten it to vape, then a person who vapes then becomes a vapor, and that just doesn't work.
Yeah, a vapist. Come on.
A vapist.
No. Whenever I see him, I bring along a vape whistle that I just blow.
Be very careful.
You have to
There
check him
is
afterwards with a vape kit.
There is a vapist around. You must watch out for the vapist. Yeah, so
this dude, his dad's gotten into vaping, and his dad, I guess in the most obnoxious form of what we were talking about, is very aggressive about how it doesn't harm anybody.
Yeah.
And so he blows his smoke like in his son's face while they are in close proximity.
Yeah.
and
That's not
his
obnoxious
son-
at all, by the way. That's not at all obnoxious and stupid. But yes, keep going.
His son, unconvinced that it is indeed a harmless, situation, which I think is kind of here nor there on this particular topic. But
yeah.
he just doesn't want the smoke blown in his face. That's it. Whether it's cigarette smoke or vape smoke, he just doesn't want it. Or vape, whatever. I guess it's not smoke.
Yeah.
See?
Vape.
But so he's gotten like really, really, really into it with like his wife is like, why does it matter so much? Because he's like, he writes into me and he's like, should I just never talk to my father again because he's such an ass?
Yeah.
And his wife is like, this is not the end of the world. Like whatever, whether or not you believe, whatever the issue with like the vapor is, then like it's not a big thing. You're overreacting by being this mad at your father for something this trivial. And from her perspective, so he asked me, am I overreacting? And I'm like, yes, you are. To everyone else in the world, you are overreacting.
Yeah.
Right? In the same way that, and I'm not morally equating these two protagonists, but the guy who puts the hot sauce in the demented people's mouths,
Lady's
mouth, is
lady nurse did it. Sorry.
the lady who did it.
Lady hot sauce. What?
Yeah. Sorry, it was a nurse lady who was doing it. Yes.
Gotcha. So the nurse who puts the hot sauce in people's mouths is a monster, right? Like she is like taking advantage of the worst people on the planet.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we forget to look at it from the other person's perspective. Like, I think this woman's terrible.
Yeah.
The hot sauce lady. But I can understand where you might be at your wit's end with that job because it is one for which your last nerve is literally tried. It's why we send people to medical school. It's why a large part of medical training is about keeping your own sanity and constantly thinking first, do not harm.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of emotions that go into this type of work.
Mm-hmm.
In this vape son's case, son of vape, he is like, this isn't about whether or not vaping is harmful.
Yeah.
That's what the argument is right now between him and his father, but it's not about that.
No.
It's about a history. It's about when he was 3 and homeboy was lighting up a pack a day of Marlboro Reds and clouding up the TV while he's just trying to watch He-Man.
Right. Right.
That's what this is about.
Right.
And so it's like when he's like going off like it's a wrestling promo with his wife.
Yeah.
His wife's like, whoa, calm down. Who cares about vaping this much?
Yeah.
But it ain't about that.
No.
And yet it is.
No, you're right. It's like I bring this up sometimes on the show, but my dad teaching me very early that it didn't matter if the waiter or waitress seemed, if they seemed grumpy or were giving you bad service or the food came late or they didn't come to give your check forever, still tip them. And I used to say, why? And he'd say, because you don't know. On the surface, you're seeing bad service and you don't want to reward bad service. But just behind that surface could be a million things swirling around. This person just got broken up with. This person's kid was just caught, smoking pot in the bathroom at the school, and she's stuck at work and can't get there to help him. She's a single mom. Whatever.
You don't know if the waitress doesn't bring the food because it's just not ready yet because the kitchen is slow or whatever.
Also that old chestnut. Like any of these things, like there's so many factors you have zero perspective on that there's no fairness in making a judgment call because you don't have the picture. And that always stuck with me, and I still do it today. Even with the service is shite, there is always going to be a tip and a smile from me because I don't know what's happening. And even if it's just straight up their dicks, which could be the truth, I'm better off not assuming that because 90% of the time they're not. There's other factors at play. It's some that are out of their control, some that are maybe directly caused by them, but sometimes they're just having a miserable time, and I don't want to contribute to their misery. So
if you are mean to service people, it's a character judgment on you.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a scientific fact.
Yeah, my mom is terrible with them
because you are in a position of power.
Yeah,
and you are taking it out on somebody who is, by the definition of their job, a servant to you, rented for the period of time you are in that establishment. Like you are walking in and King Applebee's is saying, "Welcome to my dominion. Please take a seat. I will dispatch a servant to you to deal with your hunger." That's what's happening.
Yep. That's a good way to put it. I mean, you don't hear the word when they say, "I'll be your server tonight," but that's what they're saying. We
put a fancy little addendum on it, but it's a servant. You are a rented slave for, the period of time that you are within there getting your skillet slammer or whatever the hell you're ordering.
Yeah. And you're getting paid very little for it without the generosity of you giving them extra on top of it. It's really a weird part of society. It's a weird job.
So here's the real quick, and I used to be a server, so I'll use my server expertise to let you know when you should, because listen, if we are not all the saintly human beings raised by brilliant shinings of moral clarity, like your father, Scott, like some of us are. Sometimes we just don't want to tip the person because they're a dick.
Like my mom. See, you got to understand. I had there was some good yin and yang going on because my mom is horrible with the staff every time we go anywhere. Horrible. The most minor of infractions, my mom will go off. It's horrible. So my dad was there to equalize it. Anyway, yes, go ahead.
So here, if you notice that.
I'm hearing echo too.
Kick back here.
I'm not hearing any echo. You guys hearing echo?
I was hearing.
Not now?
Yeah, I think it was a Skype thing kicking it back.
Are we good now?
Check.
We good?
There we go.
Okay.
Here's where it might look like they're not doing their job. Number one, the food's late. If the food's late, just go ahead and give them a question about so what's up with the kitchen? Normally, they'll let you know that the kitchen's running slow. If it's slammed and the food's late, I'm sorry. This is what happens. There's only so many people that are back there making food. And by the way, I don't know if I've talked about this on this show before. Cooks in kitchens are far closer to construction workers than painters. And we might not think that. Right? Sure. It's like, they make food for a living. The food is their art. And so we think that there is some level, like everybody is, Jon Favreau in that chef movie, and they're all lovingly dicing tomatoes in brilliant montages. No. The majority of the restaurants that you're going to, especially chain restaurants, you have people that are just smarter construction workers. They realize that they can come in and get hungover and get slammed drunk the night before and not wake up at 6 a.m. so they can work on a construction site, but rather show up to start prepping at noon and then just work all night. They are not exactly the smartest or the most well-tempered human beings on the planet. Not to say you're bad people for all the chefs that are out there that are right now dicing up tomatoes for tonight's salads.
Yeah.
I love all of you, right? Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about. They're the kind of people that sneak into the walk-in freezer to drink the bottle of tequila that somebody brought in for their birthday. True story. Right. Happened not once but twice at restaurants that I worked at.
Yeah, I witnessed this sort of thing Remember the Chi-Chis I always have stories about?
Yeah,
I've seen some things. I've seen some dirt.
I'm
So
sure.
understand that you were dealing with the kitchen. The kitchen is an unreliable situation. Number two, if, and something that a lot of people don't know, the way that you work as a waiter is you have a like 13-year-old girl who sits in the front of your restaurant who decides the flow for which the entire restaurant goes. I have no idea how this became a tradition, but you're going to walk into an Olive Garden and you're going to see somebody who is, doodling. You're just going to date me how old I am, but like writing in the slam book, up at the hostess stand. And then they're going to decide in which order the wait staff gets sat. There are like several sections that are there.
These are the hostess girls, yeah?
The hostess girls.
All right.
Like, they're not exactly infallible, just like completely honest distributors of how many people are going to go in each different places.
Sure.
Like, sometimes people get double sat. You have more people in your section than in another section. So if you look around and you see that, wow, this server seems to be pretty, like, slow, and yet they're running around like their butt hair's on fire. That means that they have been sat too much in their section, and they either don't have enough people on staff, or the 11-year-old who's decided to put 4 people within the last 30 minutes in their section is bad at their job.
I love that girl went from 13 to 11 in the same conversation.
They're aging backwards, like
Right.
Benji.
That's right.
Scott.
That's amazing.
I can't carry alcohol, and I can't. So I guess I have to be a hostess.
That's amazing.
I just don't know what the idea is. That apparently we feel better if we walk into the Chi-Chis and see Shirley Temple, dancing on the hostess stand. For whatever reason, that makes us, oh, you're adorable. I want to get some refried beans.
Yeah,
It's so true.
That is
weird.
weird.
Last weekend, Tina and I were at On the Border before one of our movies. And I said, wow, the hostess looked a lot like Amy Adams. And Tina says, yeah, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it is a little bit. That is a little funny, and it's always okay, this is just a side note, but at Chi-Chi's there was always love triangles going on with employees, like weird things, and it was always a hostess and some dude in the back. And it was always drama beyond drama with the hostess and a dude in the back.
Different worlds.
Yeah, it was like they had crossed the great divide and found each other. And, there'd be a firing, or somebody would tell somebody else some stupid thing. All the while, they're just people that want refills of their chips and salsa. Like, restaurants are weird, dude. Like, politically, it's
they're
odd.
Extraordinarily odd
Yeah.
for this reason. You have a certain age group in general, and if not an age group, then a mindset. The guy who's there at 30 as a waiter generally has a similar mindset to the person who's there at 18.
Yeah.
They probably started working there at 18 because in the restaurant industry, you can the receptors in your brain that say life is going good can be easily fooled by having $200 in cash in your hand. Like when you repeatedly have that feeling of like, oh, look, here's a bunch of cash. You can fool yourself into thinking that life is going great. And this is not to say it's all restaurants. There are a lot of restaurants I know where like you can make a good career serving.
Oh, there are people who've broken the code for sure. Sure.
Like in big cities, big money.
Yeah.
Totally into it, right? Even the place I used to work, Buca de Beppo, places where you have big checks. And in general, if you're a server, all servers who are listening to this are going to know it. If you are at a place that the restaurant itself is into getting booze on the table, your checks are going to be better.
Yeah.
You are going to have a closer ability to make a living.
Sure.
But by and large, you have a certain personality type, either by the servers or the cooks or the 11-year-old hostesses who have been drinking since they were 8, that want to just spend that cash they have in their hand immediately. They not only want their immediate thought on, oh, I'm living well when they have $200 in their hand, is to live like they're living well and go out and spend $150 of that $200 that in any responsible way would immediately be going to, like, I don't know, the rent or something.
No, it's true. To me, it reminds me of like Hollywood in a way. It's like you think that it looks like everybody's having a budding career in their 20s, right? But they're not really. It's one or two who make it a thing and eventually become like a Food Network personality one day.
Yeah.
But
the upper echelon of show business.
Yeah, most of the rest of them are like, this is just to get the hell out of here or to pay off my college loans or, whatever it is. And it's just, but then the microcosm within the place itself is fascinating to me. And I feel like it doesn't matter how big the restaurant is or how tightly controlled it is or if it's franchised or any of those things don't seem to matter. If there are enough employees there, you end up creating basically a biodome of personalities and the love triangles that crop up.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, the weird firings.
I don't even know, but I know that you will probably know. And somebody who doesn't, even as somebody who doesn't drink. So you worked at a Chi-Chi's, right?
I did.
Where was the bar that everybody went?
Oh, gosh. I was in high school.
There's always a bar.
Well, I was in high school, but I don't know where that is.
Goes to.
Yeah, no, you're
say it. It is a migratory pattern, as if they were the swallows to Capistrano.
It's where you go and you talk about the boss. You hook up.
Yeah.
You know the other bartenders. The other bartenders from that bar very often come back to your bar if they're like coming in for food. Like it is a big situation, and everyone, like, you could, if you really wanted to, in your city map out everything, but every restaurant has a tendril where the servers go to another bar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I was in high school but I know there was a place I was just never invited. Because I was in high school. But like all the 20-plus-year-olds, like we had this guy, such a weird place. We had this guy who had to brush his teeth every 20 minutes because he had some weird genetic tooth problem where his teeth would fall out if he didn't brush them all the time.
Oh, good guy.
Yeah, that guy, I don't know why I remember that part about him, but that guy every day would have this like ringleader thing going on where toward the end of the day he's like, all right, we're all meeting up, right? Okay, we're going to be there at 7. And it was like every night, all these people who just spent 8 hours working together would all go to some bar.
Yep.
I that seemed beyond me at the time because I was like, I just want to get home and play my Nintendo. you know, like this sucks. I don't want to go,
baby.
Yeah,
it's you just want it. It burns a hole in that apron.
Yeah, right. Like it's an odd thing, but yeah, I know we've gone from why would somebody put hot sauce in old people's mouths to the strange underworld of restaurant touring, but. Back to the lady for a second.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like when I was a kid, I don't know, there's train wrecks, right? Like today, you get a YouTube video of somebody doing a horrible fail on a skateboard. You kind of can't not watch it. Do you think there's an aspect of that to people? They've gone too far, obviously. They've crossed a line. But is it just sort of them going, well, what if I put hot sauce in their mouth? Instead of all of this background that they're a douche or that they've got all this other stuff leading up to it or we don't see the half of it. Is it sometimes just morbid curiosity because what are the old people going to do and no one's going to catch me?
So you're thinking maybe it's like, oh, I wonder if this will cure their dementia. No one's ever tried this before.
Well, I don't know if it's that. I don't know if they're being that.
Let's wake them back up.
Has been proven to cure dementia.
Wake them up with some sriracha or something
They're
like that.
They're having their own, like, what was that? What was that Williams movie? Freaking, what was that called? Awakenings. They're having their own awakenings.
Yeah, not Patch Adams, but Awakenings. Yes, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my point is, like, you know, I would do things like you put a firecracker in a hill of ants to see what happens. You don't necessarily think of the ramifications. You might
like
blow
all
your
of a
hand
sudden
up.
they're gonna start running around like Doc Brown in Back to the Future 3 when he gets the wake up juice, you know,
Yes.
and then be completely clear headed.
Yes. Good reference, by the way.
I had dementia.
And for just a brief moment, they're like, what's his name? Can't think of his name. No names are coming to me today. Not Al Pacino, the other one.
Robert De Niro?
Robert De Niro suddenly can talk and walk and talk.
Wow, how did I know that was the other one?
I don't know. You know, they're of the same generation. They're, you know, those guys work together. They know what's up. Anyway.
By the way, you know who else was in that movie?
Who?
Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He played one of the patients? No.
I think he was an orderly.
That may be. I know that. So Julie Kavner, the voice of Marge Simpson, she was the nurse that hung around with Robin Williams the whole time in the movie.
Yeah,
that's another weird.
I always
casting.
had this. I once wrote a column about the Vin Diesel corollary, where the less he was in a movie, the better it was. Like, he's an indispensable part of a great movie.
Yeah.
But just need to he's like the cardamom of movies. Like, if he too much, he's gonna overpower everything.
So hold on,
a tiny amount.
If you did this
a little bit, and you got Turkish coffee. Who doesn't love Turkish coffee?
When did you do that article? How long ago?
Oh, this was in college.
Okay, so that's interesting because that would have been post. That would have been post Iron Giant, where the argument could definitely be made a very little Vin Diesel goes a long way, right?
Yep.
But you didn't know that his role as Groot would have the same effect. Like,
no, that was definitely 15 years before Groot, so I had no clue.
That's an amazing idea. Because when it gets real shifty is something like when he's the babysitter, like he used to be a hitman, now he's a babysitter or whatever, that movie where that's just utter garbage. Yeah. And you could argue the first movie, what's the futuristic-y, what's the one everyone likes him in, but some people hate him in?
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. Pitch Black is less.
That was a huge part of that column too. Pitch Black. He's just like the badass who, like, people, I don't know, can we trust him or not?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chronicles of Riddick, it's just a bunch of people in future suits screaming Riddick over and over again.
Yeah, he features too much in it.
Too much.
That's a fantastic theory. I love this theory. So wait, where's your Fast 7 or your Fast and the Furious franchise? Where does it stand on that?
Scott, I haven't really done the maintenance on the theory. I think I've fallen off watching every Vin Diesel movie like I was back in my early 20s.
I'd hoped you'd mentored it off to some poor intern at the school or something while you were working on your PhD and said, "Look, I can't carry this work on. You're going to have to."
If
do
somebody
it without me."
wants to pick up my grand unified theory on Vin Diesel's screen time, if I remember correctly, I actually charted out the screen time.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
I might be making that up and wishing that I had done that.
This is maybe my favorite thing you've ever told me. I love that. I love things like that. Like,
I'm sure it's up online. It
Yeah.
was at the Daily Orange, so I'm sure somebody might be able to find it.
The Daily Orange. Hold on. Daily Orange. Let's just see what the internet can do for us now.
Justin Young.
Justin
Vin Diesel.
Young.
What can Orange do for you?
Vin Diesel. Here we go. Justin Young, writers, The Daily Orange. Young is a weekly correspondent. Hold on. Now we're into now. I don't know if it's here. Well, let's see. Maybe it'll just link to all your articles that you may.
Yeah, all right. I mean, listen. At some point, someone's gonna find it. We don't need to do, looking at the screen.
Listen to these headlines.
TV Zegon actually makes a very good point that
What's
kind
that?
of supports this theory because Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. Vin Diesel only has 5 words in the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before. Like the Groot thing is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Court sentence former janitor for bomb threats. These are headlines from Justin Young at the Daily Orange.
Well, that was the news. That was the news reporting stuff. That wasn't funny column stuff.
No,
that
but I
wrote.
like
So
it.
if
It
you want
sounds
to read 11-year-old. Geez, I guess it would be 11-year-old news that I was writing at the time. Then that is the place to do it.
Intoxicated student verbally abuses worker. That's a good one. City officials continue discussion of carousel.
Some serious news from Justin Young. Yeah.
Well, I was on. I primarily, if I was in the alternate timeline where I become an actual journalist, it was crime reporting that I was going to get into because that's the stuff that I liked the best was working with cops and stuff like that.
That sounds like you. That seems like a thing I'd see you. Well, a movie about you doing. That's what I would see you doing. You know what I mean? Like you'd be like,
Well,
what's
I'll tell you what. If I'm going to keep going with the Vin Diesel thing, though, what do they keep doing in the Fast and the Furious movies as they've gotten more and more successful? Adding people, diluting the Vin. You just keep adding more people around Vin, and when
that cardamom flavor gets too strong.
So
now again, you can't have no Vin,
right?
Because then you get too fast, too furious, right?
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, what reinvigorated the franchise?
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift, a movie with no Vin Diesel until a cameo.
Yeah.
At the very, very end.
Very little Vin
You
Diesel.
got a little bit, a pinch of Vin, and now all of a sudden they're like, "What? This is great!
Yeah.
This movie makes us want to have more movies.
Like Triple X suffered from too much Vin. Triple X, the Triple X sequel with Ice Cube was actually, in my opinion, a far better movie, but tanked because no Vin.
No Vin at all.
Oh, this is great.
You already brought up Saving Private Ryan, right?
Saving Private Ryan.
Yep.
Little Vin.
Vin. And that thing got jobbed to Shakespeare in Love at the Oscars. Should have taken that one home.
Oh, yeah. What the hell was that about? Sorry, I don't want to go on a fifth topic here, but that movie shouldn't have won. That's lame. All right, real quick, here's the deal. Before you go, I want to hear your quick predictions on Best Picture this Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Good.
You want? I haven't seen like any of these movies.
Me neither. I'm bad.
So I have no credible opinion. Here's all I'll say. The one movie I have seen and I rewatched, and I think if Grand Budapest Hotel wins more than people think, including possibly Best Picture, it will be because of a fact that is right in front of our face that nobody seems to be acknowledging. Grand Budapest Hotel is secretly a World War II movie.
Okay. People like those.
Oh my, Oscar gold. Unless, of course, Private Ryan, where you get jobbed out to Shakespeare in Love.
Right.
But by the way, you know the story behind that, right?
Topless Pepper Potts. Shakespeare likes her a lot. Is that the one?
No.
The story behind Shakespeare in
Oscar.
Oh, okay.
Not the plot to Shakespeare in Love.
Got it. All right. Okay. Go ahead. Explain. I don't know that.
The reason why it won was because Harvey Weinstein of Miramax Films kind of pioneered the modern way that you try to win a Best Picture Oscar, which is to completely cater to the nursing homes. Like, he just went out and spent money donating to nursing homes and made sure that all the nursing home people had his screeners, and he went to go talk to them personally. And then all of a sudden, guess who votes and make sure that all of their votes are in on time en masse is old people in Hollywood that are still a member of this very comparatively small voting collective. And that's what happened.
Wow.
So,
all right.
None of these other 10 movies that I can think of are World War II movies.
No, one's modern wartime stuff, Afghan deal with the shooter one. What's it called?
And
Sniper
Grand
Man.
Budapest Hotel doesn't hit you over the head. But as Harry S. Plinkett teaches us, but your brain knew.
You're not wrong. So your grand prediction is Grand Budapest Hotel could be the sleeping.
If it does, the problem is I haven't seen anything else, and apparently everything else is amazing, and Whiplash is great, and Foxcatcher is great, Birdman's great, and Boyhood was apparently not like the best movie, but it was shot over 14,000 years, so everybody is going to reward it for the fact that Richard Linklater has patience.
You know what's happening to that movie? What's happening to that movie is what I predicted. What's happening is everybody loved it and couldn't believe it and was so blown away by the effect of it, and then everybody got way overhyped, and now they're all poo-pooing on it. I knew this was going to happen. I just knew it. And I don't have an opinion either way because I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to the movie. But
all right, so let's look at, and I haven't seen Boyhood, so everybody can totally rightfully skewer me for saying you're criticizing a movie you haven't seen.
Yeah.
But it is like, okay, we found it's a real found footage movie in that, like, we documented over the course of a year, putting cameras everywhere, two people from different sides of the tracks who happen to fall in love, right? That's every rom-com ever. And they could do it in a really complicated way that would demonstrate 1,000,000 pounds of effort. And people would all say, that's great that you did that. But at the end of the day, it's a premise that's been done 1,000,000 times. Boyhood is, by all accounts, incredibly, a huge achievement that everybody was able to kind of continue with these characters for such a long amount of time. But it's a coming of age movie. There's been 1 billion coming of age movies. It's not like he turns into a alien space hunter, halfway through, and then it becomes an alien space hunter.
Crime fighter, right?
Yeah.
Where he opens up a portal to the demonic realm or something. Like, it's just kind of a coming of age movie. So it's like it's a movie we've seen a million times that's shot in a very, very complicated way.
Mm-hmm.
So if it wins, it will get credit for that, and it will also be because we seem to have. This is a pretty big kind of second wave of like directors that are like in varying degrees at the top of their game, if not at the other end of their prime, at the back end of their prime, that we're beginning to get to the Departed area for guys like Richard Linklater and Wes Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Like their best movies that they did, of course, weren't recognized because they happened 10 years ago.
Sure.
But now they're still doing good movies. And, for whatever reason, the body politic has gotten around to realizing that these guys are exceptionally amazing directors. And now we're going to start handing out awards to them.
Yeah, it happens with every generation of director. The directors that all come up together. This seems to happen to them every time, and it does feel a little bit weird that we're actually getting to that point where Tarantino and these guys and Paul Anderson and who else I'm trying to think of. Anyway, that whole group, they're kind of all entering their 50s. They're in their 50s. They've still got some stuff in them, but yeah, it's time for. I don't know what the fresh blood is yet, but. Maybe we do.
I mean,
know who that is.
because you could see the dude who did Birdman. He's probably still in his prime.
Yeah.
By all accounts, like he is still trying to push and challenge himself. But somebody like Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino will probably never win a Best Picture Oscar. Like Pulp Fiction was his best shot at it.
Yeah.
Because
fingers crossed for Crazy or Hateful Eight, but that's just because I love westerns.
I think they're all going to be great movies.
Yeah.
He will always get recognized for writing and probably for directing. But I don't think he's ever going to win Best Picture because his movies are too violent, And in general, it really takes a lot if, you're going to reward something that is as violent as he likes to make his movies.
Mm-hmm.
But Wes Anderson makes very palatable movies. And in fact, movies that are secretly World War II, like the creeping influence of the Nazis. Which, like, that's nowhere in the advertising. It's nowhere in the the general oeuvre of the movie. Yet when you watch it, it is kind of clear as day that the Edward Norton led thugs kind of continue to get more Gestapo-esque and their uniforms get more Nazi-esque, and this is a creeping world at war that we are watching.
Yeah, a loss of innocence headed toward oblivion kind of thing. Which you're not the first person to make that equation. So I to me anyway, directly. So I feel like would I be heartbroken if somebody like Wes Anderson cleaned up at the Oscars? No. I think it'd be great. Let's recognize that guy's body of work. There's some effing awesome stuff in there. Hell, go back and just watch Bottle Rocket even. His first freaking attempt at this thing. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much great stuff.
Yeah.
Watch a short film, too. The short film Bottle Rocket's really fun to watch because, it has a, I don't know if they're not teenage, they're early 20s.
Very young.
Luke and Ellen Wilson. So
hanging out with those knuckleheads. They also, if you wanna be reminded what the best animated feature of the year it came out was, see the Fantastic Mr. Fox one more time. He's so good. That's a Wes Anderson I could handle seeing again. I wouldn't mind him getting into that kind of.
I feel like that kind of did a lot for his career too, because even critically, I think people were sort of like, oh geez, like with Steve Zissou and the Darjeeling Limited, which I think. There was like a narrative with him that we had hit the point of diminishing returns, and the diminishing returns were, in a Futura bold font.
Yeah.
But, Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, kind of rebooted. They're like, oh, look, he can do other things other than just like different photocopies of Rushmore.
Yeah. They'll all have Bill Murray in them, but still new things.
Listen, nobody is upset about that. Okay. One last thought before we leave.
All right.
SNL 40.
Yeah.
I'm sure, did you guys talk about that yesterday?
We did a bunch.
Very briefly, yeah.
Yeah, we talked. Well, we talked a bunch about it. I feel like I watched a whole bunch of it since because I didn't see it live. Watched a good portion of all the big things, and it's like SNL in general. There's hits and misses. There's really funny moments and other parts where you're cringing, going, "Boy, this is too long." Like that. If anything, it was like a tribute to the actual thing that is SNL. Sometimes overlong and annoying, and sometimes brilliant and really funny.
The Californian sketch wouldn't have felt so long.
Yeah.
Would not have felt so long if they could have brought more people into it. More, give us a Denny Dillon from that season of SNL, or pull in some other people. But
Or don't do the Californians. Like, what? When has that sketch ever been funny at all?
Never.
It always goes too long.
Somebody owes Fred Armisen a lot of money, and the way that they're paying it back is letting him do that Californian sketch.
Oh my God! Like it seems just like it's a joke that like Mick Jagger really finds funny, and Lorne Michaels just keeps forcing people to do it. Mick Lawson.
Yeah, it was weird. But the Jeopardy, for my money, the Jeopardy one was my favorite thing of the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Jeopardy one was hilarious. I thought the Wayne's World one was funny. I thought, and I didn't realize it until I read stuff afterward that Mike Myers repeatedly making fun of Kanye West is him getting payback for George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Right, that's right. He was sitting up there next to him when Kanye dropped that bomb.
Yeah,
right. Repeatedly, which that's an amazing video to watch, where it's just Mike Myers doing solemn Mike Myers and reading off the cue cards, and Kanye West is going so Kanye. But note this.
Yeah.
Whenever you think about being a good person in life, being a good sport in life, no matter where you are, 3 people would be considered to be the funniest of their era, if not of all time, that appeared on that show. Chevy Chase, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 of them are reputed to be assholes.
Yeah.
Like, if not distant and weird. Distant and weird in Murphy's case. One of the most legendary piece of dog crap human beings in Chevy Chase's case.
Yeah, he's known for it.
10% of the stuff that is out on the record about him is true.
Yeah.
He's the worst person on the planet.
Right, he's pretty bad.
One is a cultural icon who did an old character and sang as a non-singer on the show.
It was amazing.
Bit, right?
It was amazing.
Wasn't even the closer.
Yeah.
He was in the middle of the middle of everything. He did the bit. Steve Martin too. Steve Martin, who hates old material.
Yeah.
Like read Born Standing Up. That dude left doing stand-up comedy because he didn't want to do old material.
Great book, by the way. So good.
He got in to a flesh-colored bodysuit so he could do 2 lines from King Tut.
Yeah.
And just the right amount of King Tut, just enough to say, "Hey, that was funny," and then back in the sarcophagus and done.
And done. Yeah.
Back in.
Yeah. There were moments like that where we were like, perfect. That Eddie Murphy thing, weird. That was weird.
That whole introduction, and then he comes out basically long enough to say, "Oh, thanks. Let's go to commercial."
Yeah, like, this show's meant a lot to me, and we'll be back after this. It's like, dude, really? That's all you're bringing? That's it?
Well, it's because either of them wanted to rehearse and either of them wanted to do the bit. Like, that's my guess, Because it's like,
I'll bet his poop stinks just like the rest of us.
Oh, can you guys hear Dr. Bird?
Yeah, I hear Dr. Bird. Dr. Bird's excited.
See right now. Dr. Bird's got a lot of opinions on SNL 40.
Clearly, yeah.
So if the lights out thing to do would have been a presidential sketch, right?
Oh, right, sure.
You get Chevy Chase.
Aykroyd.
Got to have Chevy.
Right.
Chevy's got to do Ford. Carvey's got to do HW. And Farrell's got to do W. And then Daryl Hammond can do either Clinton or can do Clinton.
Right.
Boom.
And you get your Armisen out to do his Obama, which I think is still the best Obama impersonation out there.
Yeah.
Oh no, I like
Jay Farrow's.
I like Farrow's better. The problem is that nobody can write Obama. Like nobody really settled on what's funny about Obama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can get into this. I think it's Clinton was different because he was a lech and people kind of loved him for being a lech, so they could write him for being a lech.
Yeah.
But it's you know, they you know, liberal writers in general, and this is I'm sure I'm like we're gonna go out on a totally non-controversial topic.
Yeah.
Liberal writers in general can more easily and in more hilarity skewer conservative people. You know, Sarah Palin's hilarious. George W. Bush is hilarious. George H.W. Bush is hilarious, right? But it's hard because nobody has figured out the thing to hit Obama on.
It's because he doesn't look conservative or liberal. I don't think there's anything about him that's ridiculous. Like there are people who there are other Democrats who are Bill Clinton was ridiculous. Freaking Johnson was ridiculous. Freaking Kennedy was kind of ridiculous in a lot of ways, his own ways, but definitely ridiculous. So there's these things you can go off of, you know, they're womanizers or they're idiots or they say dumb things or their voice is real weird or whatever. And all you can say about Obama is he has that kind of thing
and he kind of like the Jay Farrow thing is to do the
Yeah, that's all you can say about the guy. And that's funny for a minute.
I don't think so.
What else? What are we missing?
George H.W. Bush he was fairly unremarkable as a caricature. Like everything we know about him as a caricature, we know from Dana Carvey.
Right, comes from the stuff they made up. That not
Dana Carvey invented this entire Looney Tunes character that we think of as our president.
Yeah.
You know, like he was just kind of a gruff, you know, like sort of, you know, like your dad's military friend or something. Like he was very unremarkable.
Sure, but Chris Farley dressed up as Barbara Bush was always a treat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was
and Phil Hartman's Reagan was brilliant too.
Yeah, his Reagan was good.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know what it is. You know,
invent something,
I guess. Yeah.
Like, cause I mean, like George W. Bush was brilliant because everybody already parodied him. But Will Ferrell, probably to his everlasting chagrin, made him really likable.
Yeah, right.
Like he was an idiot, but you really kind of liked him. He was like he was a Will Ferrell level funny idiot.
Like a goofy, funny guy. And you wanted to spend time with him. Yeah, but I don't know how you do that with Obama. And you're out of time. You can't, SNL, your time's up. Like he's leaving office like next year. So you've missed this one. You missed the boat. All you did was a lot of and that's it. That's all you did. And that's unfortunate because we like to make fun of our presidents. So make more fun, you big dummies.
I don't know. They did one sketch where I thought they were going to keep going, where he just kind of was pandering to the like social media crowd and just like kept doing social media stuff. But it's like the pandering stuff. I think that would have rang funny, you know, because at the end of the day, he's doing like Jimmy Fallon and getting made fun of by Zach Galifianakis and stuff like that. You know, it's like I think that there's an element of that we could have all laughed at.
We got some real-time feedback from a listener who says, Melissa just wrote in and says, and this is not related to this, but says, I too have worked in restaurants. This may be the funniest TMS I've yet to hear. Thank you. So thanks,
I'm
Melissa.
here. I'm here for you guys.
So jury, quick opinion. Norm Macdonald, was he hammered?
Oh, I heard a theory on this, but go ahead.
Oh, no, he's just Norm. That's just what...
I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. So apparently Norm has been sober for a while. He's like off the booze.
Oh, really? Like there was an issue that he had to...
Yeah. Had a drinking problem and has sort of fixed that. According to an email we got, which is right here, says, I just watched, this from Tony, I just watched the 40th anniversary special on Hulu and thought Norm Macdonald was just stalling for time, waiting for Chevy Chase to get into position. Makes sense with what everyone was saying to him. So
see, I feel like, I think he was doing the opposite of stalling for time, and that's why Seth Meyers was like, oh, you're doing this already? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't tell.
Well, I also think he was trying to sort of make fun of Chevy Chase.
Maybe. He's not afraid to do that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
He has like that line where he's just like, and now one of the funniest people ever. Like, he just has like that Norm Macdonald kind of like delivery.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like he is just destroying somebody when he's not saying anything weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Like his roast where everybody was being dirty and disgusting and he got up and told dad jokes, basically. Yeah. Like he is the world's number one punker with a smirk the whole time.
I love Norm Macdonald.
I freaking love Norm. Yeah. He is the best.
I'll say I've gone back and just watch old Weekend Update
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like, oh man, I think by far my favorite Norm Macdonald joke is, what does it say for Christmas time and the commercialism that has taken over when the Christmas issue of Blacktail magazine is already on shelves in October? And then he goes like 3 more jokes and he said, correction, the Christmas issue of Blacktail magazine is only available for subscribers. I regret the error.
That is so Norm.
That's awesome.
That's why they got rid of him, you know.
Germans
It's
love
the time between
David
that and
Hasselhoff.
every time that he called O.J. Simpson a murderer.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's great. Well, this has been fun. This has been a whirlwind of hot sauce to
I think
restaurants.
I did it. I think I went a whole hour.
I think you just about did. You I didn't think you were gonna. I honestly thought at the half-hour mark this was all gonna end, but nope. Here it is, and we're all the better for it. Justin, tell people quickly where they can find you now. What's happening now?
Well, listen, if you're like, well, Justin, obviously you can talk for an hour. You are indeed the 60-minute man. Well, then you can go ahead and subscribe to Jury, Jury. It is at jurytalks.com. This week, this is a whole other topic that we can probably get into next week, but I told a story about how I'm totally whiffed on signals that a girl was sending me in high school. And it's a very funny story. It involves erotic fiction that centers around a demon.
Wow. Yeah, because that fits right in with that weird new subgenre stuff, all the dinosaurs and all that crap. That's
yeah,
good.
and this is long before that, man. This is in '97. She was way ahead of her time. I've gotten more email than I have ever gotten on any topic for the Jury Show. It has flooded in of people giving me sad sack stories of like blatant, gigantic neon sign signals that they totally whiffed on in high school. This listenership, for which we share a lot, BT dubs, is completely inept. There is like the derpiest audience, and I love all of them because I feel like we can totally relate because we are of them.
All right. Well, it's Jury Show's fantastic. Night Attack
so go ahead
is
and
equally
download
good.
that. And then, of course, Night Attack tonight, Tay Allen, and we have some performances that I recorded from Andrew Bancroft, which are really fun. So go ahead and check it out.
All right, check it out. It's Justin Robert
Allen
Young,
back.
everybody. Yeah, Justin R. Young on Twitter. See you later. Bye now.
Bye.
All right, Brian.
All right,
That
Scott.
brings us to an end, but we have one email to read.
Okay.
Oh, it's sponsored. Who's this by? Who's this brought to us by?
Brought to you by the following. My cousin was diagnosed with cancer exactly 8 years to the day after her mother passed away from the same disease. Her insurance won't cover all of her expenses for surgery and treatment, so I come to you, dear TMS listener, to help her get through this difficult time in her life. Please visit GoFundMe.com/Reader Cancer Fund. That's REEDER Cancer Fund. Read her story and donate if you can. Cheers and thanks, you silly people, you.
I bring in the most depressing thing right after Jury. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chuck wrote in. He answered our question. Finally, we have an answer. It says, hi, Scott and Brian. I saw the 50 Shades of Grey movie over the Valentine's Day weekend with my wife. Twice.
No.
I listened to you at work and couldn't call in today, but I can call tomorrow if you're interested. Anyway, I'm a married guy that's just a little older than you two, a gamer, and a movie and music buff. I have read 2 of the 3 books, so let me know if you want me to call in tomorrow. So, Chuck, here's the deal. We want you to call in Wednesday.
Yes, for sure.
If you can. If you're around and you're live and you want to call in, that'd be great, because I want to hear more about why you went, why you liked the series, and what you thought of the film.
And you know, the side effect of seeing that movie with your wife is basically getting a little extra sugar over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. That's the theory, anyway.
That's the theory.
Frogpants.com/TMS is our website. Send your emails to themorningstream@gmail.com. Themorningstream@gmail.com on Twitter. You can find us at Coverville, at Scott Johnson, at Morningstream, and you can call us. Leave us a message at 801-471-0462. It's going to do it. Brian, we do want to have music before we leave,
We
don't
do. We do want to have music,
All
and I will do that for you.
All right.
Brian and Scott, you magnificent gentlemen. TMS and the two of you have been a staple of my long commute for the past year and have helped me smile through some of the toughest times I've had. You two bring mirth and laughter to thousands, if not millions, and thank you so much for that. No, not millions.
Probably thousands.
Probably thousands.
Many thousands, but I don't think we're in the millions.
That's right.
Yeah.
many millions of laughter and smiles to those
Sure.
thousands.
Why not?
February 17th is my 24th birthday. He wrote my 24th birthday. I've loved heavy metal music ever since my father gave me one of his Black Sabbath albums as a kid. And Ailstorm is a delightfully fun band whom I think you'll enjoy, and I can think of no better way to celebrate this next circumnavigation of the sub than with good old-fashioned bacon-powered pirate metal. Thanks for all you do. 15 men on a dead man's chest, though. Signed, Alex.
Okay. That works.
He had a couple of recommendations, and I'm going to go off the board, but I am still going to do Ailstorm. Here's the thing, when a band that you request does a cover that you don't mention, I might actually pick that cover, and I'm going to in this case because it's an excellent cover, and who knows, maybe you're not aware that this exists. Ailstorm in 2013 covered, of all people, The Village People. And did not do YMCA. They did In the Navy, which is more appropriate for a pirate metal band. Released it as a single. Here's Ailstorm from 2013 and In the Navy.